Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome back to the channel. This is the first test ride of 2024 for Mr. Omni, and today I'm going to be telling you all about the new Kawasaki Z500. Throughout this video, I'm going to talk about some specs, I'm going to provide you with an exhaust clip, I'm going to take you for a test ride, and by the end of this video, I should have a verdict for you on whether or not this motorcycle is a good buy, or if maybe instead you should be saying goodbye. Prior to getting into this, I do want to give a big thank you to the dealership that makes these videos possible. So please join me in giving a big thank you to Big St. Charles Motorsports.
All right, no more around, no more sugarcoating, no more bullshit. Big St. Charles Motorsports is the best power sports dealer in this humid-ass, muggy-ass state of Missouri. Wait. We are the biggest power sports dealer in Missouri. Point blank, period. Stop shopping at these small-ass mom-and-pop shops. We actually beat all of their prices. Before you say that is bullshit, listen to me. I just told you we are the biggest power sports dealer in Missouri. You know what that means? That means we order the most inventory. You know what that means? It means we get the biggest bulk discounts, and you know what that means? We can sell it to you for the best price in the state. Oh, you don't believe me? Compare our prices. Do it. If you find somebody cheaper, we will beat their price. Our sales team said it themselves. This is why we do business with some of the biggest names in Missouri, from St. Louis to Kansas City and everywhere in between. If you want to keep overpaying for side-by-sides, ATVs, motorcycles, and jet skis, go on, keep scrolling. Dumbass. We'll have real deals here when you're ready.
And before we get going, lastly, if you want to win $50 to Revzilla.com, all you have to do is like this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and leave a comment at the bottom of this video, or any of my last 3 videos, that says Spring 2024 Revzilla giveaway. That's it. It's completely free, and you can't win if you don't play. All right. That's enough gum flapping. Let's talk about this motorcycle. Starting at the front of the machine, we have a singular 310mm floating disc pinched between a Nissan caliper with a 2-piston setup. And in 2024, every Z500, regardless of the trim level, now comes with ABS as standard equipment. The forks on our machine are a conventional setup rather than an inverted setup, which I really would have liked to have seen on this model, but that's all right, we can't have it all. They are 41mm in diameter. And as we get into the meat and potatoes of the motorcycle, what everyone's most excited for is the engine. So let's set the record straight. This engine in this motorcycle is nearly the exact same as what came in the previous generation Z400. The main difference is the torque output. Kawasaki has improved the torque output to 31.7 pound-foot compared to the Z400's 28 pound-foot. That's over a 10% increase in torque output. This is achieved by an elongated stroke in the engine assembly. Something physics, something fulcrum, something leverage. Boring! You get the point. That brings the total displacement on paper to 451 cc's. And I talked a little bit about the marketing magic of the name 500 and the moniker that Kawasaki has chosen in my last video that I did covering the Ninja 500 versus the Ninja 400. You can check that out right up here. And now that we've made our way to the back of the machine, let's just get this out of the way. There's a 220mm floating disc back here, pinched between a single piston caliper. Again, provided by Nissan. The shock out back is just a standard shock, nothing super special about it. The only adjustability that you have on it is the preload adjusted with the little collar at the very top. Since the Z500 runs the same mill as the Z400, a lot of changes didn't happen to the ergonomics and seating position of the motorcycle, and Kawasaki was still able to keep the seat height fairly low and approachable at just 30.9 inches. This is almost the lowest in the class, second only to the Yamaha MT-03 at 30.7 inches. For reference, I'm about 6'1", I weigh 185 pounds, and I have a 33-inch inseam. And this is how I fit on the motorcycle. I can comfortably flat foot, no problem. The seat pitches me slightly forward into the tank, but that just means that I get to grip the tank right here and maintain maximum control whenever I'm taking a corner. And the curb weight / wet weight of this motorcycle is right on par with last year's Z400, coming in at just 3 pounds heavier, 370 pounds, which on paper does sound pretty heavy, but once you're in the saddle, the bike is very easy to move around, and again, very approachable. And 370 pounds is nothing compared to Yo Mama. Okay, now that all that's out of the way, let's go ahead and cut to the exhaust clip, and then after that, I'll take you out for a test ride. See you there. And here we are at Big St. Charles Motorsports in the parking lot for the low speed maneuverability testing of the all new Kawasaki Z500 SE. Here's a low speed maneuver, navigating around a very, very large wrecker. Here we go. Nice and easy. Yeah, so just like the Z400, this motorcycle at low speed has very, very well-spoken manners. I don't know if that's the right terminology, but it's got good parking lot manners. And it feels like in those the low-end RPMs, you know, I've complained in some of my previous videos about slopping the throttle on some other machines that I've ridden. The Z500 is no exception. However, whenever you twist it at the low RPM, there's not a lot of like weird lurchiness. It's very, I mean, it's you know, that feels really good in the hand, even just putting my fingertips on it and doing that with it. There's no strange sensations of being jumpy or lurchy, so I really appreciate that. Let's go ahead and get our brakes a little bedded in. Let's do that a few more times, just kind of get things warmed up, you know. Big shout out to Spite over at Spite's Corner for posting a video recently about, you know, breaking in a motorcycle, wearing things in, and talking about how the engine isn't the only thing that's important to break in. There's your suspension, your brakes, all sorts of components that need to be warmed up and broken in, scrubbed in, worn in, whatever you want to call it. The best way to do that is these low speed parking lot tests, where you can kind of get the feel for the bike underneath of you and rapidly stop under controlled conditions. And on the note of breaking in an engine, that has been a topic on my channel before that I have gotten pretty fired up about. And I'm going to be riding this bike the way it's intended to be ridden. You know, I'm not going to, by any means, necessarily baby it, but I'm not going to ride it like a maniac, like I f***ing stole it, you know? And that's the biggest thing, is just like, ride the bike. You bought the entire bike, ride the bike. Again, I'm not saying drive it like a maniac or like a lunatic, but just ride the bike. Don't be scared of it, especially new ones. Like, you're under a factory warranty. It's gonna be fine. And yeah, every experience is different, and if you ride it like a maniac, the bike is probably not gonna like that. But there is also some, I guess, disagreeableness in how to wear in an engine properly, and where the engine is actually worn in at, and where that period stops. And this is probably a subject for a different video entirely, but we'll make it quick. There is a necessary load that you have to put into your engine to seat your piston rings and pressurize your system. It's just the way wearing something in works. If it never gets any pressure, how can you press it against the surfaces that it needs to mate against? Right? Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. I'm not going to sit here and be a bore with that, though. Let's do our final little bit of testing here in the parking lot of the Big St. Charles Harley-Davidson side. And yes, these stores are one and the same. They have a little breezeway that connects both of them. We're going to do our little parking spot test here, where we try to just keep it in between the lines. Very low and slow controlled maneuver. So, this white line. Not that white line, but that white line. We're going to turn in before that white line at low speed by staying in the friction zone, applying throttle at the proper amount, and hanging our back brake to keep a load in our chassis. So, here we go. Cock our handlebars, hold the back brake, find that friction zone, load the chassis, and off the brake. I kind of screwed that up, but look at that. Look at me go. Incredibly tight turns out of the Z500 at low speed. Yeah, this thing feels really good in the hand. Let's get it on the roadways and see how it fares in some real-world application. And I'm navigating traffic in the parking lot, easy peasy. All right, here we go. We'll be doing a mixture of around town, kind of through some residential areas, and then we'll hit the highway to kind of cap it off, come out on that exit, and bring it back home to Big St. Charles Motorsports. Hopefully I have enough battery in my GoPro to do all that. We're running pretty low. If it gets cut short, I'm sorry, but we'll do our best to be quick and concise about this. So the biggest difference that you're going to notice from the Z400 to the Z500 is this mid-range torque right about here at 7,500 RPM where it makes peak. And it definitely feels more rompy, rowdy, and rippy. Again, the bike feels really, really good in the hand. And while we're out on this test ride, I figured we could probably talk about a couple of features on the motorcycle, starting first with the little windscreen in the front. This is an added bonus that you get when you upgrade to the Z500 SE, which is what I'm on today. You also get a full color TFT instrumentation with Bluetooth connectivity, so you can pair your phone to the Kawasaki Rideology app and get all sorts of cool data and information about your motorcycle right there on your phone whenever you hop off and you're safely stopped. SE model also gets these LED premium blinkers over the standard, I guess they're halogen blinkers. I don't really know, but these look a lot better and just overall enhance the aesthetic of your Hyper Naked to look all futuristic and premium. Finding neutral on this motorcycle is a challenge at times when you're moving, but when you're stopped, you've got a neat little positive neutral finder, so I can just click up and I'm in neutral every single time whenever I'm stopped from first gear. So that is pretty cool. Definitely like that. And beginner motorcycle riders who don't quite have a feel for how to find neutral will really appreciate it whenever they're coming to a stop and not having to panic compared to other models. Also, these tank grips. I'm kind of, I don't know, I'm indifferent on these tank grips. Like, thank you Kawasaki for providing them. My belt buckle is not going to scratch my tank. The knee pad tank grips on the sides here though, I don't know, just the grips overall are like paper thin, and I don't think that they feel super premium, but again, this isn't a premium bike. And the fact that Kawasaki is giving us anything at all in the beginner segment that is an upgrade over the base model can definitely, I would say it highlights what the beginner segment is doing in the world of motorcycles. This is where people get started. Granted, they don't make a lot of money on them, but they sell a lot of them because so many people are getting into motorcycling now. I think last year North America saw 556,000 units sold in total for motorcycles. I don't know if that's on-road and off-road combined, but that's 500,000 machines. That's a lot of product. Also on the Z500, you get that little tail cowl in the back. You also get these frame sliders, which are super handy dandy because replacing a frame slider is significantly less expensive than replacing fairings, plastics, bodywork, all of that stuff. So that's a really nice addition that Kawasaki gives you on the SE model, along with a belly pan as well down low here. You don't get that on the base Z500. So with the addition of that and the windscreen, the Z500 SE looks a little bit more full of itself, I guess you could say. The standard Z500 looks a little malnourished compared to this because it's kind of missing those components, which give it the illusion of appearing to be larger and more filled out. But ultimately, they are the same bike at their core, and buy whichever one suits you and meets your needs and fits in your budget. Speaking of budget, the Z500 ABS standard comes in at $5,599. This model, the SE, comes in at $700 more. And for all the good stuff that you get, I can justify saying that the SE is worth the money. The dash alone, compared to the standard LCD, being able to have a TFT that's easy to read, has Bluetooth connectivity alone, to me, I feel is worth it. But they didn't just stop there. You know, the windscreen, the blinkers, the sliders, the belly pan, the seat cowl, all of that easily justifies the price tag of the SE model. And if you were to take your base Z500 and try to add all of these items after the fact, which you can't even do that with the dash as far as I know, you would be paying way more than what the SE model would just cost you at your local dealer. As I sit here and I'm riding, I'm focusing on my ash. The seat is okay. It's okay. That's probably all I can say about it, is that the seat is okay. Some might ask, does the Z500 wheelie? We could probably answer that with just a very brief clutch up here. So here we go. yes, the Z500 does wheelie. And again, not riding it like a lunatic, not riding it like I stole it, not riding it like a maniac. I'm not just going to carry a wheelie out on a brand new motorcycle that I don't own. It's a privilege to be able to work with Big St. Charles Motorsports. They trust me with their products, and they trust me to bring them back in the same condition that they left in. And just so everyone knows, every motorcycle that I have ever ridden, demo ridden, and have sold afterwards has never come back for an issue in the powertrain, electronics, or anything like that. They've always been fine because I ride them how they're meant to be ridden. Okay, I don't know if that's why they're fine or if it's just good engineering, and that's how good these products are today. Even a base bike like a little Z500, you know, today coming with fuel injection and 50 horsepower and not even being over 400 pounds, that's really impressive by standards that were, you know, what they were 50 years ago, or even 10 years ago, 20 years ago. We've come so far in the world of motorcycling, and I trust these products that I review for you guys. Got a bunch of good readouts on our display here, like instant miles per gallon. You can see I'm bringing in a super nice 76.9. I was doing 90 there for a second. Let's go to our average, which is 30.4. We don't have a whole lot of data to go off of. In fact, we only have about 7 miles of data for this bike to read. 2 or 3 of those miles were just kind of around town commuting and in the parking lot. So we're still building data, and as you can see, you know, I'm in 6th gear, holding roughly 50 miles per hour, and my average is just climbing up and up and up. I estimate that a bike like this is probably going to get somewhere between 55 and 65 miles per gallon, depending on how nice you are to it. But for sake of simplicity, let's just say that you average 60 miles to the gallon ballpark. You can expect to get about 220 miles to a full tank before you run it completely bone dry, but you don't want to do that. A little bit hard on the fuel pump there on these fuel injected machines. And I recommend filling up probably about the 150 to 180 mile mark on most bikes, just as a safe bet. You never know when that gas station that you pass is going to be your last. Alright, and in this portion of the video, we're going to do a 0 to 60 test. I'm not a professional. We are also going uphill, so my time may not be phenomenal, but I'm gonna give it my best to do it right, and hopefully I give you guys a solid time that you can use kind of as a reference whenever you're thinking about buying a bike and comparing it to other models. So here we go. Get that friction zone just right. 3, 2, 1, go. 60. Oh, hello, Mr. Officer. How you doing, boss? I see you up there. Not today. Not today. How you doing? All right, we are getting fairly low on battery, so let's go ahead and try to talk a little bit about highway capability. Here we go. I'm completely upright. I'm laying into the throttle. That torque is forcing me forward, screaming to 80 miles per hour in 6th gear, no problem. And I've got plenty left if I want to dig into it a little bit more. The Z500 pulls and pulls and pulls, clear up to 90 without a need to downshift. And my Insta360 just ran out of space. That sucks, but that's okay. That is perfectly fine. So highway capability for the Z500, very good. And let's see what we're averaging for fuel economy right now. We are getting 57 miles per gallon, cruising 62 miles an hour, 6th gear, 5,700 RPM. Yep, 60 miles per gallon. So I was fairly accurate in my calculations. Again, on a 3.7 gallon tank, probably about 220 miles per tank if you got it all the way empty. Oh no, is this traffic I see? No! No! Damn you, traffic! Damn you, Highway 70! Hey! KLR! Oh wait, no, that's KTM Adventure. Ah, that's embarrassing. Okay, alright, well, we're almost back to Big St. Charles, and my GoPro battery's running low. I want to make sure that I give you guys the answers that you came here for. Is this motorcycle worth purchasing? That depends on the kind of rider that you are. If you're the kind of rider who wants a bike that does a little bit of everything and does it mostly well, yeah, this could be a bike for you. It skips around town just fine if you're using it to run errands or just commuting back and forth to work. Even on a highway, it is capable, as you just saw. It's very well mannered at low speeds, so you don't have to worry about, you know, around town city driving. It does really well with all of that and makes you feel confident in the saddle with a very manageable weight profile to it. And anti-lock brakes as standard equipment just give you, the consumer, a little bit more value at the base level. So that's pretty cool to see Kawasaki scratching the backs of the guys that have put them on top so far, beginner riders, in this segment, of course. So yeah, easy to ride, good fuel economy, very approachable. For all those reasons, it's a good buy. Only downside is very, very little wind protection. That is one thing I noticed during our highway pull. Wind protection is not prevalent, but it is a naked motorcycle. If that's why you're buying the motorcycle, you're buying the wrong bike. Also, passenger comfort is not going to be ideal, but rider comfort, big ups. Big ups to rider comfort. We're pretty well upright in the saddle on this. We could ride for hours without having extended fatigue in our wrists and our lower back, which a traditional sports bike will cause. So yeah, probably the only two downfalls, no storage and poor passenger comfort. Oh, and lack of wind protection. But, you know, I can probably get by not worrying about all those things. But if you can't, and those are absolute must-haves for you, then this bike is a good buy. Okay, I made it back. My battery's on the verge of death, so I have to make this quick. I want to say thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for sticking around. We're so close to 10,000 subscribers. You guys are amazing. Can't thank you enough for all the support, comments, interactions, all that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Again, if you want to win $50, all you got to do, like the video, subscribe to the channel, comment on this video or one of my last 3 Spring 2024 Revzilla giveaway. That's all you got to do. You can't win if you don't play. Winner will be announced May 22nd, 2024. Again, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day. Please, ride safe.